is it can be anywhere between 14 families and 8 women to um, 20 families, depending on the size of the family. Um, they every family has a certain amount of rooms. We have 4 floors. It's like a regular apartment, but they do co-share with the kitchen area and the living area. It's it is it's a very family friendly shelter. The children, they love to come down and talk with staff and interact. They're great. um, we, the staff we have really is awesome staff, very understanding. We love the shelter, and thank you very much for considering us and with your donations.
Awesome. So I was able to interview a couple people over at the shelter, and the next interview is Robin, and I want to share that with you right now.
Hi, my name is Robin, and I have been at the family shelter for about 10 months. I came to the shelter after going through quite an ordeal. After years of living with and taking care of extended family, they kicked me out after a big disagreement. While this was happening, my wife became very sick. She passed in a hotel 18 days after we were evicted. I found myself and my son lost and heartbroken without a place to call home. When I moved into the shelter, it felt like family, and they were the relief that we needed to rebuild, grieve, and start anew. Since being here, I've been able to create a savings account, buy a car, fix my license, and this all happened because the shelter helped me. I'm on housing waiting lists, looking for an apartment, and seeking employment. Being here is like having a second family, and the connection to resources, especially Christmas help for my son, is amazing. Everyone has a different experience, but the staff here really help. I would like to thank all those who are helping my family this holiday. I am so grateful. I've never had this experience before, and I thank God that there are people out there who are able to help. People who don't have the resources and don't have families to help, we thank you for being there for them. You're a blessing.
So that was a read over. I just want to say that unfortunately, Robin did not feel up to reading his own story, which is fine, totally fine. But you don't want to hear my voice for 5 hours in every single story. So I did have a coworker read Robin's story because I feel like it's more impactful from a man, because Robin is a gentleman who is a single dad at the shelter, which does happen.
It does, yes.
Yeah. And his story is just, I mean, I could have cried during it. I could cry now while I'm thinking about it. It's a circumstance that I don't think anybody would think led somebody into a shelter. Everybody's great. You live in an apartment and you have family and you have supports and you have a job, and then you don't have family and supports and a job and a home. And then you have your wife sick, and while you're going through all of this turmoil, more turmoil happens and she passes. Yeah. And how do you even begin to rebuild your life? And this strong man just sought out resources, and he's been building one brick at a time. Mm-hmm. How amazing is that, Julie?
It's definitely amazing. And through his time at the shelter, what he was able to mourn the loss of his wife, but also be strong for his little 5-year-old son. And he has grown so much, and he's doing pretty amazing, and he's close to getting housing himself. He will be he's a strong man, and his little boy too loves to come down to the office, and the little boy's kind of taken attachments to a lot of the other women in the shelter, and we've all kind of taken him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that throughout our entire interview, and obviously I put together the story from everything that we talked about. He just kept saying, like, I've created a new family. I've made a new family. I've made it in the staff, and I made it in the other people who live here. And we've made a home.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like emotionally crazy to think about. And like, I want to, I want to feel so many emotions for him. And in the end, I just feel like, wow, like what an amazing individual
Yes.
and strong.
Ver-
And what a strong person.
Yes, yes. And he's done everything he's needed to do. He just started a new job. His son is in school and in after school care, so he can work. And he's close. He's close to getting out on his own.
And back on his feet.
Yes.
Yeah. And he hasn't been there that long. So, it is doable. And I think, again, this is just one of those times where we think about, like, this is the things you hear about why people come into the homeless shelter are not always truthful, and that everybody could be one situation, scenario, paycheck away from sort of being in that trickling effect where you lose your job, you lose your supports, you lose your house, and then you're left with where do you go from here? And, he was invested all in this one particular part of his life, and he lost that. And he snowballed, but he got himself back on his feet. So it is a powerful story. And I was so blessed to have been able to interview him for the Radiothon. And I think that, he's never been part of a program before that helped him with the holidays, and both of the people we interviewed at the shelter, this is their first time ever getting any holiday help. And you guys, you're listening in, are making that happen, guys. You are the reason why these kids are going to be able to have a joyous holiday season. It's because of your help. And so we want to be able to give more than just these two families help. So we need your help to call in 766-1240 to make a donation now. Julie has been blessed to have two donations while we called. Christina Noel and Spencer Susie. We're just shouting out to you again. Thank you again. Oh, Julie wants to ring the bells for you one more time, guys. So I would like to thank you, Julie, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. So Spencer Susie, is so funny that you called in when you did, because you are on the program to, you recorded a holiday song for us to play right here, only to be heard on our Radiothon, guys. And so we're going to say goodbye to Julie, while we play, Let It Snow, by Spencer Susie.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. Since we no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.